Hello, it's Southern Belle Canto. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be discussing a book review. The book that I just finished is A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Kathryn Moon. My spice rating for the book is a 5, so it's 5 peppers. It is sexually explicit. And unfortunately, my Goodreads for this book was 2 stars. I did not really enjoy this book. I found it to be very dense and very wordy. When I got this book, I was very surprised at how many pages, how small the print was, and just very wordy and dense. When I was reading it, I kept thinking, this is like the Henry James of erotica. And that sort of summed up the book for me. A lot of people really hyped this book up and gave it high ratings. It has like a 4. Is it? Let me see. It's like a 4 point something on Goodreads. And a lot of the people I trust on YouTube and Booktube and everything and Goodreads, they gave it between 4 and 5 stars. So I had a lot of high expectations. And unfortunately, those weren't met for me. I felt that the book lacked a lot of character development. So the protagonist is Esther, and she is a maid. I'm guessing from the cover and the characters that it's probably Victorian era, and we don't really know too much about her. We know that Esther is a maid. She's about 20 and she likes sex, and that's basically all we sort of know about her. There wasn't a lot of character development, and that for me is a problem. I don't have to have a ton of character development. I don't need like a family history, but I need something to root for, someone to feel connected to. And with Esther, I just didn't get that. And mostly it's just her having sex with different monsters without really a purpose to the story or anything. It's just sexual encounter, sexual encounter, sexual encounter, multiple sexual encounters, and there wasn't a lot of plot for me. That's what I felt. I mean, it was kind of cool. I felt the idea was alluring of just a plain, like original, a woman with monsters, but it didn't go into a lot of the details I was looking for. There was one scene where Esther is taken to like a sex theater in London. That was probably the highlight of the book for me. It was the most interesting. It reminded me a lot of, I don't know if it's in the book, I've only watched the movie, sadly, but an interview with a vampire where I believe, I don't know the name sadly, but Brad Pitt and Kristen Dunst, I think they're in Paris, maybe Italy, and they sort of go to a live show where this, I guess, beggar woman or prostitute or something is like thrown on stage, and she's like, you know, allured by the vampires, and they sort of have like sexual biting, if that makes sense. And that scene in The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor where they're at the sex show sort of reminded me of that scene from Interview with a Vampire. And yeah, like I said, the idea was cool, but there just wasn't motivation, development. It was just Esther with a Sphinx man, an invisible man, which that could have been interesting, but it didn't go there. It was wordy, but not in a good sense. It wasn't like when I think of like wordy, good erotica, I think of like The Pool Boy, where it had really good like sexual content. But this one was just like, okay, they're having sex again. Okay. It sort of reminded me of when I read, I believe it's called Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I think near the end of the book, I was like, okay, she and the guy are having sex again. Okay, they're doing it again. Okay, whatever. Where's the plot? How's it going to end? And with Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, a lot of people in like I think the Amazon reviews is where I looked to, are like, I couldn't put this book down. It hit my face 3 times because I just couldn't put it down, and I kept dropping my hands. I was like, well, I can't put it down because I wanted to get it over with. I always finish my books. It is extremely rare for me to DNF, do not finish, I think is the term. It's really rare for me not to finish a book. And I think most of that is because I was an English major, so I was sort of like trained to read for long periods of time and get that book finished because there was a paper due or a quiz or a test. And so I sort of treat every book in the sense of like, I need to understand it, I need to be able to write a paper on it. But ooh, I didn't enjoy this book, sadly, and I had really high expectations. Because I didn't enjoy this book doesn't mean that you might not enjoy it. I mean, one thing I thought was interesting, and it started off really cool, was so Esther is a maid for a woman, Mrs. Pickering, and I guess that's how she meets the Jekyll and Hyde character, who is named Dr. Underwood. And I think basically he has like an early version of a dildo vibrator. I think those are the same thing, but you know, a vibrator slash dildo. And he's using those on women, I guess female patients that have quote unquote hysteria, which I thought was interesting because I love women's history. I like sexual history in a way, and that's why this reminded me of Victorian era, and that was because, you know, women were seen as hysterics and hysteria, and it was sort of thought of that this hysteria was brought on by the vagina in the womb, and so doctors basically, I think, invented these like dildo vibrator things to basically give women orgasms so that they would be docile and calm and not like neurotic or whatever. And so I don't know if her name is hysteria, but the term of woman as being hysterical or hysteria or whatever is from, I believe, Greek mythology, and I'm assuming the goddess's name or the character's name is Hysteria, and she's had some issue with her womb or like female genitalia. I need to look up that story probably more in depth just for fun. I like history. So in a historical sense, it had some interesting things like that. That's why I would assume this was Victorian. It never said. At one point she said Esther was like grabbing her sweater, and I was like, okay, is this like is that steampunk, I think is the term, where it's like Victorian but also modern sort of thing? Maybe that was what was happening here. But I don't think so. I just think it was Victorian, and I just had a lot of high hopes for this. I didn't find Esther to be in a reverse harem like a lot of people said. For a lot of it, I was like, is this reverse harem, or has Esther been duped into being like a sex slave for all these men of the manor? You know, I thought about that a few times, and I was like, is she in charge, or is she just sort of like really horny and these guys are like, hey, I'm here, you know, enjoy, sort of thing. There were some interesting monsters that I haven't, well, monsters, I don't want to be, you know, whatever. But there was a vampire, there was an invisible man, there were werewolves and werebears, which that was interesting. It made me think of, I might be a British mythology or a Welsh or something, but if y'all remember Game of Thrones with Brienne Tarth having to fight the bear, and there's like I think it is mythology from England, you know, the United Kingdom somewhere, either Wales or Scotland, sorry. And it's basically, I don't know, like a blonde lass, I'm assuming she's blonde, and fighting a bear, and that was in this the sex theater scene, so that was interesting. I hope I didn't give away too many spoilers. I don't think I did, but yeah, there was a few interesting monster suitors slash lovers slash maybe sex owners, I don't know. We had a vampire, we had a sphinx, which that was really interesting. I sort of wanted to look at maybe looking into the history of sphinxes after reading this book. Just because when I think of the Sphinx, I only think of the statue. I don't know too much of the Egyptology or ancient Egypt history about the Sphinx, so I am going to look into that for fun. So yeah, if you read this book, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I went into this really thinking I was going to give it a 5 to 4 star, and I was very sad to give it a 2. I really didn't want to have to give it a low rating, but it didn't work for me. You know, it didn't work for me. And you know, I gave The Pool Boy a 5. I gave The Princess Takes a 5, and other people are going to give these 1s and 0s and 2s and did not finishes. So, you know, to each their own. But I'm not opposed to reading other works by Kathryn Moon. I thought there was potential here, but it was very dense. It was very dense. And yeah, I'm still sort of getting over how dense it was, but anywho, yeah, that was my review of The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. Had to look at the title again, sadly. And I hope to have this video up shortly. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I hope to have some more reviews up very soon. I have my bookshelf right behind me, and I hope to pick another book off of my shelf from my TBR and have a review and updates for you soon. So hopefully y'all all have had a good day. Earlier I filmed Get Ready With Me. This makeup is nothing special. It's just a put it on and go sort of look. So I'm going to have a Get Ready With Me where I do this makeup look, and that should be up on Friday. This should be up soon as well. So yeah, I enjoyed making this video. I wish I enjoyed the book more. Hopefully I'll have another book that I enjoy better soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Instagram, or I think they call it Bookstagram, at the same username, Southern Bel Canto, all one word. I think so far my picture has me with butterflies. My posts are usually the books and just me. So I'd love to chit chat with you in the comment section below, and also on Instagram, and maybe Goodreads as well too. We'll think about that. Well, have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye everyone.